then all this other shit starts happening because the universe works that way. It will keep tearing things down until you're really distilled. And I think that that is the kind of status that we're in, and why it's important to have responsibility for your own reactions, because all of us are constantly creating and co-creating a circumstance, you know?
Creating a circumstance. Co-creating a circumstance. Where do you come up with these phrases? Co-creating a circumstance. Co-creating a circumstance. Damn. I like this. What? See?
It's good to talk to you, Hollis. We had such a good talk in Berlin. It's good to be back again.
No, the thing is, right, this is what I understand. And I said this to you before. I don't know. I remember, I actually remember one specific day, because I don't think we actually talked much with voice. We were sending messages mainly.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I remember there was one day we were doing it all day long. Like,
it was like 8 hours or something.
Yeah. I want to say even more than this.
Might have been.
I want to say even more than this. I want to say more like in the 12 to 15 range, something like this. Like we were like talking all day. And I think it's very, very interesting to have spent so much time talking to you. I guess we were mainly talking about music stuff. And you have this whole other side of you that I had no idea about. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't know how, or maybe we did have these kinds of conversations and I just don't remember them. I'm just focusing on,
how we met.
Yeah. I don't know. And I mean,
the obvious connection.
Yeah. So I actually appreciate you on a whole different level.
Well, likewise.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Since Berlin, because I feel like I just discovered this whole, like opening the door and like, oh shit, there's a whole bunch of other rooms in this house. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, totally.
So that's crazy. That is crazy. So did you? But speaking of this, actually, I did want to ask you this. What do you think? Do you do this? Are you able to do this very often with strangers? Because I feel like somehow I still don't even know exactly how we came into contact. I don't remember this at all. But are you able to have like these in-depth like connections? Because I felt connected. I definitely in that period felt connected to you.
Yeah.
Is this normal for you? Like
well, that's a tricky question. Okay, what I will say is I'm a pretty private person in a lot of ways. Like I can definitely be in a company, be in social circumstances, but I'm also the kind of person that if I don't feel like my energy is really where I want it to be, I would rather not go to social circumstances. Like I'm not able to just turn things off. And as a result of that, like I feel like the connections that I do have, like one with you, and I remember that period of time when we were talking all the time, like it was important to me. It was really interesting and it was important. I think I was just signed to Warner Brothers and we were talking a lot too about relationships with labels and producers and we all know musicians can be fucking nuts, right? Like there's a lot that can so there's and there's a lot in the music business. There's a lot of covert contracts. There's overt content, but there's a lot of covert contracts going on and whatever. And I remember talking with you about that at length too, which goes into sort of dealing with. It's like music is a very emotional business, and then anyway. But yet it's a business, and so it's this kind of weird hybrid. And so I felt really grateful to be talking with you at that time. I remember that for sure. But I will say that like because I'm the way that I am, the connections that I do make tend to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
They're like long lasting and they seem sort of like where did it come from?
Mm-hmm.
But yet it's a tangible, consistent thing. And like I think we never spoke in person or met in person until I got to Berlin, but it was like I saw you, like it wasn't 10 years or whatever it was, 8 years or something since we'd actually, been having those conversations.
Right.
So no, so I would say no, it doesn't happen frequently, but I would say but this is how it happens for me.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean,
but not often. No.
Yeah.
No way.
I mean, I know for myself that I am not a private person, right? It's always all hanging out, and I think for me, it's because I'm so open. I tend to I don't know, give people allow people to feel open with me. So it's,
Yeah.
so it does happen. I would say it happens like relatively frequently to have like really intense and deep conversations with people, but it's mainly within a very specific moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know, like then it's almost like coming back to reality, and then the person is gone. You know what I mean? It's the really interesting because I mean I remember like one moment comes to mind. I remember being at a party and having like in the back of a party with a girl. She was there with her boyfriend, and the whole party was going on, and she and we were just like talking in the back of the room for like hours and hours, and everybody was coming back like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what is going on back there, And in that moment it was really connected, and then we never talked again. I don't think we ever and I mean I think we even exchanged information and all of this different kind of stuff. And actually I had another situation. I might have told you about this when I met someone. She was like a mutual friend of. We had a mutual friend. And it was when we first moved to Montreal. When I first moved to Montreal, and she was living there. And we met up at 12 o'clock in this cafe. And we sat in this cafe in the same spot for 7 hours. Like,
but we did that too.
Yeah,
in Berlin. We met up at 6, and then at like 2 in the morning we were recording a song.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, it's time to.
Yeah. But then
you have that definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like this is a little bit different because we at least stay in contact, and we still, actually. But there was I think there was maybe like a few years where we didn't really talk or whatever. Life just started happening or whatever. But in this case, like I didn't see this girl, and actually I think she was even nervous that actually happened, and she actively did not want to be around me after this ever. It's really interesting how these things can happen. You have these moments, and maybe I guess that's what the moment was meant to be. And
so was she then, do you think, taking responsibility for her emotional reaction in that moment by saying like, okay, I'm going to like put a break on this circumstance because it may create some rift with my boyfriend, or it may create some rift in me, or.
Mm-hmm. Now at the party, I'm not exactly the one at the party. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Like, because we didn't even. I mean, this was pre-internet, so there was,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
there was
different.
no way to follow up or whatever, and I don't think I actually called her or she actually called me or anything like that. And so I like this was just dissipated, you know? And we didn't really, I mean, we had overlapping circles, but we didn't really see each other too much after this. We're friends on Facebook now though, um but with the other one, I think she just said something like, man, I'm really trying to concentrate on school." And it's not like I asked her anything. It's not like I expected anything from her. She just volunteered this information. She was just like, I, I'm I'm trying to get my schoolwork done or whatever, and I can't. Like I think she might have actually said, I can't, you know? And so, but I don't, it wasn't even like a, I mean, it wasn't like, at least on my end, it wasn't even like a romantic, you know what I mean? We were just talking, you know, about whatever, you know? So in that situation, I guess her reaction was maybe something stirs inside of me and I can see where this is going. I'm going to fall off track, you know, with my, you know, and then she was like, okay, I'm going
Right.
to stop this right now, you know? And
I would say that's responsible at some level.
yeah. But, and
Yeah,
then,
maybe.
yeah. I mean, but I think I was a little, in this situation, I think I was a little bothered by this too. But like I actually didn't feel good in that moment because I felt like we didn't have any, like, who's to say I'm going to interfere with your schoolwork or whatever, that I intend to have 7 hour conversations with you every time that I see you, you know what I mean, like, you know. So
Mm,
but I don't know. Maybe something else was going on. I have no idea. But I mean, I guess this could have been one of those moments where I could have had a reaction and got offended and had some
right.
reaction to her saying this, like, you know, oh, well, what the fuck, you know, like we just clearly we get along, like la la la, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
maybe it was that her saying, "Oh, I can't right now," was actually, it was a reaction. It
mm,
was an emotional reaction where she felt afraid
mm,
that she was going to be, or that you were going to pull her into, away from her work somehow, or
mm,
some whatever she felt she needed to do. And so that emotional reaction actually hurt your feelings because
yeah,
it was like making a presumption about you. I don't know.
mm.
I'm just sort of, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but reflecting something back to about what
Well,
you've said.
I
So,
have no idea because I didn't even expect, you know, I didn't expect any of it to happen, you know what I mean? I didn't expect the time to pass this way. I didn't expect her to say this. I didn't know anything about school being, you know what I mean? And so I didn't really have expectations, but maybe she thought I had expectations and she was, you know what I mean? Like maybe she
yeah,
was just reacting to what she thought, and instead of saying to me like, you know, hey, I don't know what like, what do you think
right.
is, you know what I mean? We just didn't have a communication. It was more like she just came to some conclusion unilaterally and just acted upon what she decided. You know what I mean? This thought that she had. So I don't know. Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it, though? Like, just in the context of this whole conversation, I mean, that is the thing about about reactions, isn't
Mm,
it? It's like a
yeah.
unilateral, coming to a unilateral decision and acting on it,
Yeah.
I guess.
So this is like, and so this is ties into this
Contracts, yeah.
covert contract. What was the other one?
Co-creating a circumstance.
Co-creating a circumstance. Dude, I'm
Uh,
just telling you, I'm gonna be going around saying this all the time now. I'm just letting you know it's happening. You know, you can set up a royalty payment, you know, but it's happening. I'm just letting you know now it's happening, you know?
Awesome. Good. Yeah.
Right?